home, everyone. On the 6th is the anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima, and this first poem, I just found out, is going to be published in the Moonstone Arts Center of Philadelphia's Hiroshima Day anthology. It's called Hiroshima Haiku. She gripped her basket whilst foraging for mushrooms, then the plane flew by. And the next poem is a brand new poem.
No.
It's called The Problem with Being the Truth. The problem with being the truth is lies can be more interesting. Lies like to lie down, stretch out, thusly stretching the truth. But like the Stretch Armstrong toy, a man made of rubber with arms and legs that were stretchable and twistable until the arms and legs can no longer be stretched and twisted or broke off. The lie must eventually get up from his chaise lounge, lest the summer sun burn its skin unrecognizable. Of course, the truth isn't infallible to a lie that tries to discredit the truth and succeeds, but the lie can't always be true to itself. As a result, the truth will move on to parts unknown, and those who believe in the lie find themselves searching for a truth that is nowhere to be found. And I pulled this out of the archives. So this is about the truth as well, but in a different way. It's called The Truth About the Hard Truth. And this is got a little epigram. I went to bed with a cold fact, with no cuddling after, from Star Davis's Today God. When you sleep in the same bed with the hard truth will state its purpose and roll over to face the wall. So it doesn't have to look you in the eyes. The hard truth will recognize an infatuation with potential to transform into true love. The hard truth will pretend to have restless leg syndrome so it can either sleep on the couch or make a not so graceful exit. The problem with going to bed with the hard truth is that the hard truth doesn't realize all its posturing is a bit slouchy and predictable. The hard truth believes it always stands tall, but the hard truth is a human being with faults it stays awake at night worrying about and idiosyncrasies it cannot see in the mirror. The hard truth will never admit it, but every once in a while the hard truth slips up and tells a lie. And so this piece was published in Anecdote Literary Magazine, and they just nominated it for a Best of the Net award. And it's called A Random Act. It was a cold, drizzly December May afternoon. Not cold enough for snow, not a strong enough rain to call it real rain. It had snowed an inch or 3 that morning, not enough to take out a shovel, easy enough to drive through, the type of snow that gets melted by a couple or 4 hours of rain. I drove the 45-minute weekly road trip to wait in line for about 15 minutes to enter Trader Joe's and exited with 2 bags. I rolled my cart 2 parking lot aisles over to the cart receptacle, and while walking back to my car, I saw a woman holding several bouquets of flowers, carefully placing cellophane wrapped packages stem and down under windshield wipers. I asked her what she was doing. She said that on a day like today, she thought people wouldn't mind getting flowers from a stranger. She extended her right arm toward me and offered me a bouquet. I hesitated to accept, but accepted. I suddenly felt flattered and thanked her. She smiled and responded, "Just a random act of kindness." I got in my car and inspected the carnations and chrysanthemums that looked like they were painted with melted Skittles. I began to giggle. I felt a few warm tears roll down my cheek. I reached around to the pocket in the back of my seat to grab a roll of paper towels to tear one off to use as a Kleenex. I wiped my tears and blew my nose and started laughing again. I heard my mother's spirit telling me that crying when happy is genetic. Suddenly, I could feel my father's arm stretched across my shoulders, giving me a gentle squeeze. My Uncle Sam was offering me a slice of gooseberry pie for breakfast and a shot of after-dinner aquavit. My Aunt Milo was explaining to me that Velveeta was the secret to a good pot of cheese grits. I think she would have approved of my version with Asiago coconut milk, curry leaf, lime zest, and white pepper. My Aunt Charlotte was tightly hugging me, acknowledging that her secret depression wasn't something I had to keep secret. My Uncle Ralph offered me an ice-cold Fresca. He told me he was no longer afraid to converse with his teenage nephew he thought might be gay. My friend of over 21 years, Beth, wasn't telling me she had decided to discontinue chemotherapy, but instead was making her famous potato soup while her giant yellow Labrador Ebenezer was asking me to rub his belly. This random act of kindness flooded my heart with sunshine. The sun was refusing me that cold, drizzly December May afternoon. This random act of kindness allowed me to feel a little less pandemic isolation sad, a little less afraid, and a little less alone. I do have one more, and I will be singing, so that is your trigger warning. And don't get a big head just because Marilyn sang a song about you. We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. The temperature is rising, it isn't surprising. Dear heat wave, is life fun for you? I wonder if weather patterns have social lives. I mean, would you date a hailstorm or blizzard or vice versa? Are you a bad boy in the weather world? Would you bring a tornado or tsunami to Thanksgiving just to piss off your family? Makes the mercury jump to 93. Oh, 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 we're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. On days when you are present, hotels raise rates at least $50 to $100. Do you get a kickback? Do you see a shrink? Where do you reside when you disappear from the atmosphere? Scientists blame human activities for your continued persistence and increasing intensity. Are you anti-electric cars and windmills? I understand that you are heavily invested in fossil fuels and multinational electricity providers. Guadalupe, 97. Santo Domingo, 99. Martinique, 105. We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. The temperature is rising, it isn't surprising. In the end, you just cause trouble and create hot sidewalks and heat exhaustion. Your most prevalent quality is that you are exhausting. You must thank God every day for the existence of the 1954 musical There's No Business Like Show Business and the late, great Marilyn Monroe. Gracias.